after being told he had died before she was born. "I'm not visiting exactly. I've decided to move to Bozeman permanently," she said, wishing he wasn't staring at her so intently. She watched as he hooked his thumbs in the pockets of his jeans, a stance that immediately placed emphasis to his entire muscular physique. Surprise once again lit his eyes. "You're moving to Bozeman? Permanently?" "Yes." "Why?" He all but snapped the question, and she wondered why he would care one way or the other. My dad, is hoping that moving to Bozeman will give us a chance to get to know each other better." Even after 2.5 years, it was still somewhat difficult to call Corey Westmoreland Dad, as her two brothers had begun doing. McKinnon nodded, and she noted that the eyes studying her were more intense than before. He had a close connection to her father, since Corey was the best friend of McKinnon's father. In fact, to her way of thinking, it was a deeper connection than the one she herself shared with Corey, if for no other reason than because McKinnon had known her father a lot longer than she had. "That's what Corey thinks. But is that what you think as well?" he asked, his voice breaking into her thoughts. "What I really think is that it would help matters tremendously if you'd stop looking at me like that," she wanted to say, suddenly feeling like she was under a microscope. Whether he intended it or not, his gaze was provocatively sensual and was sending a heated rush all through her. "I think it wouldn't hurt. I've lived in Beaumont, Texas all my life, and when the lease expired on the building holding my clothing store, and I wasn't given the option of renewing it, I considered the possibility of relocating elsewhere. I've fallen in love with Montana the few times I've been here, and agree that moving here will give me the chance to develop a relationship with Corey." "I see." Casey doubted that he did. Not even her brothers fully understood the turmoil existing within her after finding out the truth. From the time she was a little girl, her mother had painted this fairy tale image of the man who'd fathered her and her brothers. The man who'd supposedly died in a rodeo accident while performing, leaving her mother pregnant with triplets. Carolyn Roberts Westmoreland had made it seem as if she and Corey Westmoreland had shared the perfect love, the perfect marriage, and had been so dedicated to each other that she'd found it hard to go on when he died. According to her mother, the only thing that had kept her going was the fact that Corey had left her with not one, not two, but 3 babies growing inside her womb. Triplets who would grow up smothered in their mother's love and their father's loving memory. It hurt to know her mother had weaved a bunch of lies. Corey Westmoreland had never married Carolyn Roberts, nor had he known she was pregnant with triplets. Legally, her mother had never been a Westmoreland, and to make matters worse, Corey had never loved her mother. For years, he had been in love with Abby, a woman he had met years before meeting Casey's mom. And Abby was the woman he'd been reunited with and eventually married just a couple of years ago. "And there's another reason I wanted to move here," she decided to add, getting to the reason for paying McKinnon a visit. "I felt a career change would do me good, and by moving I can do something I've always loved doing." "Which is?" "Working with horses, which is why I'm here. I understand you're looking for a horse trainer, and I want to apply for the job." Casey tried ignoring the sensations that flooded her insides when McKinnon's gaze moved up and down her 5'3" petite physique. His gaze glittered when it returned to her face, as if he was amused by something.